Welcome back to the deep dive. We have been on a major journey. In the first two parts, we locked down the behavioral foundation, then poured rocket fuel on your income engine.
Right, because you have to accelerate that income.
Yeah.
We saw that in our video on salary negotiation. It's the fastest lever you have.
Exactly. So now we pivot. We're talking about architecture. Because you can have all the motivation, all the income in the world, but if the structure is fragile.
It just collapses.
Yeah.
The mission today is all about getting that structural clarity. We want to eliminate the single biggest threat to your financial success, which
Right.
is that constant psychological drain.
Decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue,
Yeah.
and always relying on willpower. It's just exhausting.
So we're digging deep into a systematic solution today, pulling straight from the insights in our videos like automated systems for financial freedom and, of course, the only money system you'll need. So let's just start with the big, hard truth. Why do traditional budgets fail? I mean, the stats say over 90% of the time.
It's purely psychological. I mean, think about it. A traditional budget is all about restriction.
Hmm.
It's about telling yourself no constantly.
And nobody likes being told no, especially by themselves.
Exactly. It triggers this need for rebellion, and it forces you into dozens of these tiny moral negotiations all day long. Did I spend too much on that coffee? Should I buy this shirt?
By 4 p.m., your brain is just fried. Your willpower is gone.
It's zero. You give up. You're wasting all this precious mental energy tracking lattes and managing guilt. The problem is that budgeting tries to control your behavior, not your environment.
So the solution we're talking about, the one that flips the script, is what we've been calling the anti-budget.
It's really an engineering solution, and it's designed for freedom. The core concept is just so elegant. You remove the need for daily tracking because you automate the most important dollars first.
So the right decision becomes the default decision.
The decision has already been made for you, no willpower required.
Okay, let's unpack the architecture then, the three accounts, because the order of operations here is like absolutely non-negotiable.
Critical. Step one is you pay your future self first. Period.
So account number one is what we call the build account.
The non-negotiable future. This is your wealth creation engine. And the automated transfer into this account, it has to be the very, very first thing that happens when your paycheck lands. Before rent, before bills, before anything.
And the sources are pretty aggressive on the target for this. They say start at 15%, but push towards 20, even 30% of your gross income. Now let's talk about that because 30% is life-changing for sure. But for someone in a high cost of living city, that's intense.
That is a fair challenge. Look, 30% is the destination. It's not necessarily day one. If you can only do 10% today, that's fine. Start there.
So it's about the mechanism, not the amount at first.
It's about building the habit. Then here's the trick. Every single time you get a raise, you immediately dedicate half of that new money to your build account. That's how you ramp up without feeling the pain of lifestyle creep.
I love that. You institutionalize the raise. And this money, it can't just sit there.
Oh, absolutely not. It has to flow immediately into growth vehicles. And the most, boring but effective recommendation is always low-cost, broadly diversified index funds. S&P 500 trackers, total market funds. Set it and forget it.
Okay, and here is my favorite part, the little psychological trick from the sources. The structural fiction trick.
Yes, this is so powerful. You put your build account at a different bank than your main checking account.
Just that little bit of inconvenience.
It's a huge buffer. If you get in that impulse to buy, say, a new TV, you can't just move the money instantly. You have to log into a whole different platform, start a transfer that takes a day or two.
And in that time, that cooling off period, your rational brain kicks back in.
You're protecting your future self from your impulsive present self. It's brilliant.
Okay, so after the build account is funded, we move to account two.
The bills account. We call it the necessary present. This is just a container for all of your fixed monthly expenses, rent, mortgage, insurance, utilities, all of that.
And you just do a one-time calculation to figure out that total number?
One time, that's it. Then you set up an auto transfer for that amount to happen right after the bill transfer. This just creates such powerful infrastructure. Your obligations are covered silently, automatically. So much stress just vanishes.
So future self is handled, present self's obligations are handled, and now we get the payoff.
Now you earn the right to account number 3, the spend account.
The guilt-free money.
Whatever is left after accounts 1 and 2 are funded is 100% disposable. And this is the magic. No tracking, no negotiation, no guilt.
It shifts your whole mindset, right? From
Uh,
scarcity to abundance.
it really does. And what's counterintuitive is that when you feel abundant, you actually make better, more relaxed spending choices. You're not driven by anxiety.
So let's make it real. Say you take home $5,000 a month. You decide on a 20% build rate, so that's $1,000.
Right. And let's say your fixed bills are $2,500. So 1,000 goes to build, 2,500 goes to bills.
And the remaining $1,500 lands in your spend account. And that's your playground. No questions asked.
Exactly. So the setup is calculate the ratios, set up the transfers on paycheck day, and then just watch it for a month. If your spend account runs out too fast, the answer isn't to cut your build rate.
It's to find a way to lower your fixed costs in the bills account or accelerate your income. It all connects.
It all connects.
Okay, action item time. We're calling this the automation test. I challenge you as you're listening, or definitely this week, open your banking app. Set up a recurring automatic transfer into an index fund, even if it's just $50.
The amount is secondary. It's the mechanism. It's the habit. A system will always, always beat negotiation with yourself.
So true. Okay, now let's move from the financial plumbing to the personal operating system. We need the habits that sustain all this.
Yeah, as we saw in the video, 10 frugal habits that made me rich. Successful people don't find time. They take it. They protect it.
And the sources are so focused on this idea of the sacred morning routine, waking up at least 2 hours before your first real obligation.
That time is yours. Your brain is at its clearest. There's no external noise yet. That's when you do the deep work.
It starts with these little micro actions, a 10-minute brain dump. Just get all the thoughts and to-dos on a paper.
And then 5 minutes of movement, a stretch, a quick walk. You're just signaling to your body that it's time to get going.
And what about the biggest failure point? The snooze button.
Ah, the snooze button. The no negotiation rule. The fix is so simple it's almost dumb. Put your alarm clock across the room.
So you physically have to get out of bed to turn it off.
You're up. The first battle of the day is won. No negotiation possible.
Okay, next habit. Knowledge compounding.
We're not talking about reading a book a week like some CEOs claim to. Just 30 focused minutes a day. The key is the quality of the input.
So, biographies, business strategy, investing principles, things that upgrade your mental models.
Exactly. And here's a little accountability cue for that. Leave the book you're reading open on a high-traffic spot, like your kitchen table. When the book stares at you, your brain stares back.
It lowers the activation energy. I like that.
It really does. And this connects right into goal slicing. Big goals are intimidating, and that's why they fail. You have to slice them down into habits that feel stupid to skip.
So a goal like launch a $100,000 side hustle, that's terrifying.
Right. But that becomes the micro habit of email one potential client a day. That's 5 minutes. Anyone can do that. But over time, the momentum is unstoppable.
And this all requires guarding your attention, which the sources say is quite literally currency.
It is your most valuable currency. Which brings us to the sticky note rule. The night before, write your top 3 high-leverage tasks on a sticky note. And the critical rule is,
Do not touch your phone until those 3 things are done. No email, no social media, nothing.
you have to protect that peak focus. If you don't control your calendar, someone else will, which leads to time control.
The time audit.
Yes, for just 3 days, track every 30-minute block of your time. You will be horrified at where your time is going. The mindless email checks, the constant context switching.
It's a killer. What's the immediate fix?
Delete one distracting app from your phone and mute one group chat today.
Yeah.
Just those 2 things reclaim a huge amount of mental energy.
Love it. Okay, let's talk about leverage, networking, and mentorship.
One good conversation with the right person can save you 5 years of trial and error. It's the ultimate shortcut.
But nobody wants to get that awkward, can I pick your brain?
No. So here's the template. Find someone you admire online, send a message, max 50 words. It needs 3 things.
Yeah.
Genuine gratitude, curiosity about their journey, and one specific, insightful question.
No pitch, no fluff.
Just respect. Do that once a month. It works.
Okay, this next one is crucial. Scheduling recovery.
Burnout is a financial problem. Full stop. When you're burned out, your productivity plummets, you make bad decisions, you have to treat recovery like revenue.
So scheduling it like a client meeting.
Exactly. Mandatory rest, real weekends with your phone on airplane mode,
Yeah.
and one do-nothing day a month. Zero agenda. Block it out on your calendar right now. Protect that day because you are your most important client.
Absolutely. And for a quick win that feeds right back into the anti-budget system.
The instant raise, the expense audit. Download your last 30 days of bank or credit card transactions.
Yeah.
Go through with a highlighter and circle every single non-value added expense. Forgotten subscriptions, phantom fees.
And the action step.
Before you go to bed tonight, cancel or renegotiate 3 of those things. That is lost capital redirected right back into your system. Boom, instant raise.
No performance review needed. Love it. Okay, so we've got the architecture and the habits. Let's connect this back to income and resilience.
Right, this is how you protect your wealth long term. And as we saw in our 3 income streams video, the data is clear. 70% of self-made millionaires have at least 3 distinct streams of income.
It's just diversification. It's a safety net.
It's your safety net. So beyond your primary job, your W-2 income, the streams fall into 3 main buckets. First is passive income, dividends, interest, rent, money that works for you.
Second is an active side hustle. Consulting, freelancing, teaching a course on a skill you already have.
And third is leveraged income. This is where it gets exciting. Royalties, profits from a business where others work for you, or a digital product that can scale without you trading more of your time for it.
The goal is just redundancy. So if that main job disappears, you're not in a panic.
You're resilient. And this brings us to our next challenge for you, the income accelerator. I want you to list 3 side income ideas you could launch. Just 3.
And then pick the easiest one, the one with the absolute lowest barrier to entry.
And launch it in the next 7 days. Don't overthink it, just execute. Speed beats size every time.
As that income grows, we have to talk about investing without getting caught up in the hype. We covered this in Forget AI and Crypto, the 2026 wealth system, and Stop Checking Stocks Every Day.
The market rewards patience, and it punishes impulsivity. Wealth is built by time in the market, not timing the market. That boring, globally diversified index fund strategy, it's still the champion.
But for listeners who really want to optimize, the sources do mention an optional lever, adding a small cap value tilt. Okay, that sounds like a bunch of jargon. Break it down.
It's simpler than it sounds.
Yeah.
It just means dedicating a small slice of your portfolio to smaller-sized companies that are also considered cheap or trading at a low price relative to their book value.
And why would you do that?
Because decades of academic research show that over the long term, this specific factor has delivered higher returns than the broader market. The trade-off is you have to accept a bit more volatility. It's an optimization for the long haul, not a get-rich-quick thing.
Makes sense. A little extra risk for a potential long-term premium. Now, speaking of long-term, let's dive into dividends, which we covered in Dividend Investing Explained.
A dividend is basically a thank you check a company sends you just for owning their stock. The best part is you get cash without having to sell any of your shares.
And this is where the system gets really powerful, with dividend reinvestment plans, or DTIAs.
Yes, the dividend P automatically uses your dividend payout to buy more shares of the stock, even fractional shares. It's a snowball effect. Your money is buying more assets, which then generate even more money for you. It's compounding on autopilot.
So once you've built all this wealth, the job isn't over. The focus shifts, right? This is the post-accumulation phase we saw in retirement planning, made simple.
The focus shifts entirely to management and protection. There are 2 huge risks you have to manage. Number 1 is inflation, the silent killer.
At just 3% inflation, prices double in about 24 years.
Your money is literally losing purchasing power just by sitting there. So you have to stay invested in growth assets, even in retirement.
And the second risk is longevity risk.
The risk of outliving your savings. And it's a very real risk now that people are living 25 or 30 years after they stop working.
So what are the strategies to manage that?
Well, the most famous is the 4% rule, which suggests you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio in the first year of retirement, adjust for inflation, and have it last for 30 years. But, and this is a huge but, you have to be flexible. In a down market, you might need to withdraw less.
Another huge lever is optimizing Social Security.
Massive. If you can afford to, delaying your benefits until age 70 can increase your monthly payment by up to 32% compared to taking it at 62. That's a guaranteed return you can't get anywhere else.
And finally, tax strategy. Using a mix of your traditional and Roth accounts to manage your tax bracket in retirement.
It gives you so much flexibility to minimize taxes and make your portfolio last years longer.
Wow. Okay, we have covered the entire spectrum in this series, from the behavioral foundation to income acceleration to the anti-budget system, and now, finally, to protecting that wealth for life.
To pull this entire three-part deep dive together, we've got two final challenges for you. First, the automation test. Set up that automatic transfer this week. Get the system working for you.
And second, the income accelerator. One concrete action this week to boost your earning power, whether that's prepping your salary negotiation data or launching that tiny side hustle. Do both, and your financial trajectory changes instantly.
And we want to leave you with one final provocative thought. It connects the systems with the self-management. If you truly commit to treating your rest and recovery time, that mandatory do-nothing day, like a high-stakes client meeting that you absolutely cannot miss, how does that change your perception of your own professional value?
And what does it do to the limits you place on your own earning potential? Something powerful to think about. We really recommend you binge this full three-part series to let it all sink in.
And then go check out the original 15 videos for all the source material. If you got value out of this, please hit that like button.
And comment below with your number one takeaway from the entire deep dive series. We really want to read those.
Subscribe and ring the bell for more wealth-building strategies, and let us know in the comments what you want us to deep dive into next.
We'll catch you next time.